you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Out and about today, actually in the morning, and it's been quite a just eventful day. I have not been out photographing in the morning in such a long time, and it's pretty fun. The streets, as you can kind of see behind me, are just lit up right now, and just the colors look beautiful. A lot of different colored people out there, and just a lot of fun different activities people are doing, just going on, you know, and I'm enjoying shooting it. Speaking of shooting, I've been shooting with the Fuji X100v. I've been back on that camera, as well as the Xe-4, which was kind of my bridge to getting back to the X100v. And so I wanted to just talk a little bit about my experience with both of them and what I prefer to use as my street photography camera. Ever since the pandemic started, I've actually been shooting more later in the evenings because it just hasn't been as active. But lately, not lately, today I just decided to get out during the morning, and yeah, it's beautiful out. It's completely different, and I'm just really enjoying the vibe, the people around. It's almost just like a whole different culture, a whole different, yeah, I would say almost like, it just looks like a whole different city in terms of just who's out here and just how things look and whatnot. But really enjoying the day, just spending a few hours out capturing, and then definitely want to try doing some evening, night photography as well and see where that takes me. So let's keep shooting. Start with the Fuji Xe-4. This is a fun camera. To be honest, just right off the bat, it's not my favorite camera, not my favorite Fuji camera. That is my absolute favorite, don't get it twisted, is the Leica M6 here. And I actually, let me show you this, picked up this 18mm, or not 18, 21 to 28 millimeter viewfinder for the camera, and I absolutely love it. This is a good viewfinder, and I have this 18mm lens, which is like equivalent to a 28, I believe, on this Xe-4, the crop sensor. And 28's for me, like 28 is what I'm transitioning to. 28mm is what I really like, and what I think I'm gonna just shoot heavily for the foreseeable future, especially on the M6. On the X100v, it's 35, but overall, I really enjoy the focal length. So one other thing I really enjoy about this Fuji is just the image out of this camera. Being able to adapt my Leica lenses onto this body, this 28 and then my 50mm, is awesome, because the image quality out of both of those lenses is stunning in my opinion, and I absolutely really enjoy that. But the only downsides to that is that I feel like the viewfinder on the back of this camera is a little small, and I suck at manual focus if I don't have a focusing patch like I do on Leica. This isn't to compare the camera to a Leica, because that's not what it's built for. It's built to be really using the lenses that come on it, and being able to interchange those lenses. But to have that flexibility and be able to do that is really cool. It's just the downside of really my eyes and not having a focusing patch. Otherwise, it's a really great system for that. But overall, I don't know if this is the camera for me. When I hold this and when I shoot with this, I'm not really motivated to use it. I'm not really motivated to shoot. I'm not a big fan of the form factor of the camera. It just doesn't feel right in my hands. It's a little too small, and having the thumb grip on the back and then probably having like that little kind of holder on the front, I don't know what it's called, would definitely probably help with holding this camera. But overall, when I just hold it in my hands, I'm not as motivated to shoot as I am with my X100V. I did forget to mention that I originally bought the Xe-4 because it was a cheap, affordable camera that I could use to scan my 35mm film negatives with. And then I was just like, hey, I have this camera as well. I can get a 18mm lens, wide angle lens, and just do street photography with it as well. But mainly it was to scan photos. And then it got me back to the X100V to want to shoot photos with and do more street photography with. That being said, if you want just a kind of smaller form factor camera, I probably do recommend something like this, or the Fuji, not the Fuji, the Ricoh. The Ricoh is definitely more compact than this. This isn't pocketable. I would honestly say the Fuji is more pocketable, even though I kind of have a filter on the front. Once you put a filter on, the Fuji X100V isn't as pocketable, but yeah, this one's not as pocketable because of just the girth you kind of get with the lens that's on the front of it. No complaints about this lens in general. It is loud, but yeah, overall, just having that wide angle and the sharpness and everything that comes out of this lens, I absolutely adore. Another difference between the Xe-4 and X100V is that the Xe-4 is much louder than the X100V. I mean, but it's not so loud that like people would really notice you, because on the streets with all just the natural sounds going around, I doubt they'll hear it as well. But I mean, if you're kind of singled out and you're in a quieter situation, the Xe-4 is much louder. Let me show you what it sounds like. And then this is the X100V. You can't even hear it. So yeah, that's kind of just give and take there. How stealthy do you want to be? I believe the X100V is a lot stealthier. And then one last issue I'm kind of having with the Xe-4 is that when I use the tilt screen on the back of the camera, for some reason when I get it to like a certain angle and then lower it, the screen flips upside down. So it's kind of just like I get that vertigo, like I don't really know how to shoot it. Where on the X100V, I figured out very easily how to turn it off. It might just be me being dumb, but I figured out how to fix it on the X100V. Don't know how to fix it on the Xe-4. And I also was having issues with a lot of my settings not saving on the Xe-4, but I recently learned that there's a firmware update that fixed the issue of just color settings and ISO and whether I'm shooting JPEG or RAW. All that now saves. It wasn't saving before, so that kind of just hindered my experience with the camera. But overall, they're still both great cameras. Go with whichever one fits you. I'm really struggling to talk today. So when it comes to the Fuji X100V, this just is like the digital camera that I enjoy using most at this period of time in my life, just because, one, it just feels right. It feels good in the hand. It's really comfortable. I have this awesome kind of thumb grip on the back of the camera that flips up and down here, and I really, really enjoy that. That's awesome. Viewfinder on the back is a lot bigger than what I'm getting on the back of the Xe-4. That focus is there. And yeah, it's just ergonomically, it feels better in the hands to kind of use to shoot. I like to just hold this camera and just, kind of practice messing around with the settings and everything. in contrast to the Xe-4, I have full control over all my settings on the camera body. I have my shutter and ISO right here, as well as my aperture on the ring, while on the Fuji, you lack the physical button to control your ISO on the camera, but on the X100V, on the Xe-4, I have my ISO dial programmed to this front kind of wheel right here. So that definitely helps enhance the experience of the Xe-4. So just know that you can program the 2-3 extra buttons that are on the Xe-4. This one has more customizable buttons, but I'm actually not like a huge customizable button person. I like to just use directly what's just there, what's already programmed for the camera. I'll sometimes put like my ISO or shutter on auto and then just use the exposure compensation. Again, that is stuff you can do with the Xe-4 as well. But I just like really to leave it simple, not customize too much on the camera. I really just have back button focus on the back of this camera and then control everything else manually. I do have the wrong filter size moment lens on the front of this camera, and that's just because I believe when I first bought this, when I originally had the X100V, I sold it. I didn't sell it. I just bought the wrong size and ended up just adapting it. But it fit perfectly on my Leica Q, which was really nice. But overall, I just really love using this camera. The Fuji system in general, I feel like just bridges the gap between the digital and film world to my liking. Just as close, it's as close as you can get to bridging that gap. And that's what I really like, because I like shooting film so much. Having a digital camera where I can switch up simulations and it feels like switching a roll of film. I love that. I love putting different filters on the front of this lens and shooting just different types of stuff and seeing like the different results that I get. It's not always consistent like film sometimes is. So that's really what I love about that. I also really do enjoy the viewfinder. I end up using not the EVF but the OVF, just because it's just more similar to my Leica. Like, look at both of these cameras just next to each other. They look like siblings. And yeah, it's amazing. Like, I got my advance. It's kind of like an advance lever. I can flick it around like an advance lever, like my M6. But yeah, overall, freaking really enjoy, adore, and love this camera. So if it's not obvious, I highly prefer the X100V over the Xe-4, but it's really up to you. I have small to mid-size hands, so I don't know. If you have smaller hands, the Xe-4 might be perfect for you. If you have like mid-size hands like I do, the X100V may be better for you. I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. I've kind of just been all over the place in terms of just figuring out like what I want to do, what street photography kind of means to me anymore, and really just understanding like what I'm out here kind of just doing, exploring the city, just having fun with a lot of things, but really just taking it lightly, and really just enjoying life. Getting out here and observing people is really nice, and I've really been enjoying that. But it's pretty difficult just with this huge transition and really trying to do the work that matters to me, because I started off filmmaking, kind of quit photography, then got back into photography and really falling in love with street photography and documentary photography. And now I'm like kind of I'm not falling out, of love with filmmaking. I still do enjoy filmmaking, but overall, I don't pursue it as hard and as much and as passionately as I do street photography. And I'm almost kind of worried that just like, no, I don't want to lose my love and passion for, filmmaking. But, and I think YouTube is definitely helping me like re-engage that passion and just merge the two, merge filmmaking and photography, and seeing kind of just like where that takes me in life. So it's definitely a balance, but overall I would say I'm just figuring things out. I'm definitely like grateful for where I am right now, but I think honestly I just kind of want to focus on making meaningful work regardless, like whether I'm doing street photography or filmmaking. I think the overall goal for me is just to make meaningful work, give people that feeling I have when it comes to just looking at photos, back at photos of my father and just how much they mean to me and my family, creating that type of stuff further for myself and creating that type of stuff for other people to enjoy. That about wraps it up for today. I've really been enjoying, as of late, just exploring different times of day and just kind of seeing how the city changes, the people kind of change, who's out, who's doing what, or just what there is to just enjoy, do, and photograph. So it's been quite a fun experience, and every photo you saw today was actually edited in Lightroom with my new Fuji preset pack, or it's just a Lightroom preset pack. You can use it on different photos as well. It's called the EGTV Lightroom set, whatever it's called, whatever I name it, but definitely check it out. I'll link to it. Make sure you guys, just check it out. If it so interests you, you can purchase it if you would like. It is on sale. It's going to be on sale for about like 2 weeks, a week. We'll see how long it is up for sale. So definitely grab it while it's on sale if you can, and there'll be more sales and whatnot in the future, but I really hope you guys just enjoyed this video, and again, check out that preset pack. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing because it definitely helps this channel, and see you guys next time. Peace.